Thanks, Mom and Dad, for supporting me and encouraging me. Thanks, Mallory, for driving me around.
I'd like to thank my mom and dad for being there, cheering and supporting me. I'd also like to thank Kaleb. Even though he can't wrestle, he's always there to support me on and off the mat. I'd also like to thank our fans for cheering loud. And I'd like to thank Randale for letting me throw him around.
I'd like to thank my parents for coming to all my wrestling meets and supporting me. I'd also like to thank Luke Lagergren and Paul Rooney for helping out in the weight room on season and off season. And I'd also like to thank Danny Borgerding for coming in the wrestling room and helping us out. And last but not least, I'd like to thank our amazing fans for all the enthusiasm and excitement they bring.
I'd like to thank my parents. I'd like to thank Mr. Marks coming in every Wednesday. I'd like to thank Danny for coming in when he can. I'd like to thank all my fans, and I'd like to thank Joe Tenson for encouraging me to come out for wrestling.
I would like to thank my mom and dad and my sisters for coming and supporting me and the fans.
I'd like to say thank you to my mom and dad for coming to all my wrestling events throughout the years since first grade. I've had a lot of fun with them, and they're always there to cheer me on. Thanks, Mom, for packing my lunches. They're always good. And the fans, it's really nice to have you there. Gets our team riled up and ready to go. And any other community members, thanks for coming all these years.
I'd like to thank all the fans and for supporting us, and I would like to thank my family and friends, my parents especially, for all the work they do. Hats off to everyone.
I'd like to thank my parents and all the fans who've continuously supported our team over this year.
I'd like to thank my parents, coaches, the managers, the fans, Danny, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Bentz, and Mr. Marks for coming in, and some of the older kids who graduated that came in also.
I'd like to thank my mom, dad, my grandparents, and the rest of the fans and friends for coming and supporting us each night we wrestle.
Thank you, Mom and Dad, for supporting me this wrestling season. I really appreciate it.
I want to thank my parents for supporting me and my coaches for preparing me for the season and having a successful season.
I'd like to thank my family and fans that supported me this year.
I want to thank my family and most of all the fans for supporting me and the team.
I'd like to thank my parents for showing all their love and support. I thank my coaches for pushing me and making sure that I'm doing my best. And I'd like to thank the fans for being there. You may not know it, but we appreciate it.
I would like to thank my mom and dad and my brother for coming out every match and supporting me, and I'd like to thank the fans for giving us that energy when it is needed.
I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me, and I'd also like to thank my coaches and team for supporting me through all this.
Did it beep?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hi, I'm Leo. I'd like to thank my family and Mr. Marks for pushing me through the season and all the coaches.
I'd like to thank the coaches and the wrestlers for letting me be a part of their team.
I'd like to thank my parents for letting me have the opportunity to be a manager, as well as the fans who cheer us up.
I'd like to thank the coaches and the wrestlers for letting me be a part of the team. I would like to thank my parents for letting me do this.